It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. This is the show that takes the mystery out of your financial life. Let's kick it off. This is a question from Edie. Hi, Jill and Mark. I love your podcast. I have a really tough question about my 21-year-old daughter. Okay, here we go, Mark. We're ready. Me being the non-parent, let me make the decision on this. Okay, 21-year-old had an internship in Los Angeles this past summer, and I scrambled to find her an apartment and covered her living expenses while she was out there. I need help figuring out how to teach her to stay on a budget. I've asked her numerous times since freshman year in college to put half of her money away that she earns from her job into savings. She tends to be a clothing junkie. She eats out with friends a lot. My husband and I have about 12 more years until we want to retire, and we need to sock away money for us. She's draining us. I've talked to her about taking a budgeting course. I've also asked her not to spend on the emergency credit card I gave her during freshman year. There's always an excuse. Help. Oh, God, Edie, I've got one for you. So here's a question. It sounds like she's graduated from college, or, I don't think she's in school. It's just like she had this internship. And so now I would basically say to her, here's the amount of money that we will be giving to you over the next few months, and it's over after that. And now we're also taking away your credit card. This is what is called a secured credit card. You will have that. You will be able to, we'll load some money up on that. I mean, in some respects, you kind of have to just say, we're going to throw her into the pool. Is there anything, if she's not going to, the only reason she's not going to do it is because you're there. So I think we should have a game plan with her where we say, and I'd love to have you come on with her on the air, that we say, okay, here's how much longer this arrangement is going to last. Here's how it's going to end. Here's what you're going to have to do. Here are the resources. You're a smart girl. We figure you can take care of yourself. If you get into credit card debt, we are not here for you. And I would really try to give her this messaging sooner rather than later and lay it out. Mark, do you have ideas?
No, I'm with you. I mean, the daughter right now is the way she is. So I think it's on the parents to draw a line and be firm and not be enablers.
Yeah. And you don't have to be cruel, right? That's not in other words, from my perspective, like you can be very nice about it. You can say, this is how we're thinking. This is what, and here's what it's going to, but then you and your husband have to make a pinky swear with one another. And I think that is one of those pieces of the puzzle that's important. It can't be that like you're going to be the hard ass and your husband's going to be like, oh, but she asked me so nicely. Like you guys are on the same page. You sit down, you have the conversation. We lay it out. We say, okay, here's what we're going to do for October, November, December. Here's the money that we have available to you as of January 1st. You're going to do this, 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 and this. And I mean, I'm hopeful that she's working because now that you said she had an internship. So I mean, there's a big difference between if she's in college still and she's not. But if she's working, then we can kind of cut her off. If she's in college, we'll give her another, 5 months till she graduates and we'll go from there. But I'm going to tell you something. This is a problem that will find a solution when she's on her own. And when she doesn't have to do it herself, she doesn't do it herself. So there's that. Okay. This is from Joe, who writes, hi, Jill. I'm a big fan of you and the podcast. My mother passed away earlier this year, and my stepfather, who I love dearly and who has been there for me almost my entire life, is suddenly in charge of his own finances for the first time in decades. He is 67 and he just retired. I really want to check to see if he's in good shape and if there is anything he should consider as he makes some big life moves and changes. Okay. He's trying to move near me, which is a high cost of living area on the East Coast, to be closer to a new grandson and regularly visit a granddaughter on the West Coast. That's a bummer. He plans to sell his home and rent in a 55 plus community. The rent will be about $2,500 a month. The house has about $133,000 left on the mortgage, and the market value is $650,000. So I don't know. I presume that he'll net between $400,000 to $450,000. He doesn't have any credit card debt, doesn't have many debts in general. He has a government pension, will be around $1,600, and his Social Security will be about $3,000 a month. He's covered under Medicare Part D. He has $20,000 in checking, a small annuity with $17,000, $30,000 in a money market, $97,000 in inherited retirement accounts. He has also reserved $8,000 for future mortgage payments, but he'll pocket that when he sells the house. That's his picture. What do you think? Is he in decent shape? What advice would you give him to make sure he is as comfortable as possible for as long as possible? Well, I mean, here's the good news. He's 67, right? And he is going to have his government pension and then his Social Security, and that'll give him this $4,600 a month. He probably can live on that. All the other money that he has, including the proceeds from the house, the inherited retirement account, the money market, he shouldn't have to dip into that too much. My first recommendation is, because he is not used to managing his own financial life, is that he may want to consider working with a fiduciary financial advisor, because I'm worried that once he gets that $450 from the net sale of the house, that someone is going to go after that money and convince him to put it in an annuity or do something dopey. And we don't want him to do that. So I think getting an advisor, maybe with your help, and maybe you sitting in on that. It sounds like you have a little bit more experience and comfort with the idea of personal finances. And my second piece of this is that he's got to really begin the process as soon as he sells the house, but even now, to start to identify what his expenses are. So if he does $2,500 a month for the rent, is there another $1,500 a month in other stuff? I'm guessing yes. So at $4,000, he should be pretty good. But if all of a sudden he starts taking a lot of trips to the West Coast and spending a lot of that money, that's where he's going to run into a problem. So do I think your stepdad's going to be okay? Yeah, I think probably. It would be nice if when he's in this 55 plus community, maybe he wants to do a little something to keep him busy. I think that this is some of the things that he should be keeping in mind. And you're such a nice kid. Well done for that. Okay. Last question from Jerry, who writes, the basic question is this: isn't a Roth IRA open for at least 5 years better for liquidity than a brokerage account, since gains within a Roth would be non-taxable? Yes, it is. But for some people that they want to just have money where they don't have to worry about whether this account is open for 5 years or not, and they want to be able to put money into the Roth when on an ongoing basis, and they don't want to keep track of it. So it is not that it's better for liquidity. It is they're both liquid as long as that Roth is open for 5 years and you have liquidity. It's really just a question of tax efficiency, and a Roth is more tax efficient. Of course, if you have a brokerage account, you can take advantage of losers also. But I hope you don't have a lot of losers. And I hope that's helpful. If you've got something going on in your life, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are trying to help you navigate your financial journey. Give us a holler if you've got a question. Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Here is a question from a Mark, not you, Mark, but another Mark. And the subject is 457 investment options. And so here is the question. Hi, Jill and Mark. My amazing wife got me listening to you two a couple of months ago. Thank goodness for the spouses, Mark. I have noticed that we have some spousal turning on of each other with a little, sexy financial show. Yeah. Okay. Here's what Mark writes. he says, she has a passion for finances, his wife, and wanted me to be more involved in our retirement planning. I've learned a lot, and the show has helped us have some fruitful discussions. Now, she isn't ready to call into the show yet. I'm working on it. They live in the Pacific Northwest. He is 46. She is 47. They make $250,000 a year together in government jobs, very stable. They will both have pensions. I knew you'd like that. And they also have 457 deferred compensation accounts. Now, currently, Mark writes, I have around $200,000 in mine, $150,000 in traditional, $50,000 in Roth, and hers is about the same. We will be maxing both of these out in February. Now, all the new money is going into the Roth, and they will continue all future 457 contributions into the Roth. He says, I will be retiring and pulling my pension in about 7 years, but I will continue to work for 5 years or so after that. We both will be fully retiring around the age of 60. We are working on building our emergency fund. It's our weak link at the moment. Okay, here's the question. With the plan to continue investing in our 457s for 12 to 15 years, how should I diversify my money? I have a list of the options within the 457. I don't know how to split it up. Can I send you a list and get your input on how you would diversify it with these options? Our 457 is through Mission Square, which shows a lot of Vanguard funds, a T. Rowe Price large cap growth, and some mid cap plans. There's also Target Date and Federal Money Market and Bond Index. Working on getting all the documents done. Okay. Thanks. And let me know if I can email you the list of plan options. So yes, you can, but you don't even need to. When you've got this massive laundry list of investment options, I want everyone to be thinking fewer, not more. So the way you can kind of focus on this is to say, I want a stock market index fund. I want a international stock index fund, and I want a bond index fund. Now, I know some other plans, you might have other ones. Mark, do you care about putting a small cap or a mid cap in there?
I personally do not care, no.
I don't really care either. I mean, you could put a few percentage, maybe up to 5% in a commodities index fund, but the most important part is index fund. And don't double down, because what we often will hear about from folks is that you have a plan, you've got a large cap, a mid cap, a small cap, like, okay, just one. It's okay. Even if it's just an S&P 500, it's okay. And what we would really recommend for you is to not mess around with your allocation based on what the market's doing, but you can just do a little bit of rebalancing every year. So feel free to send us the list. I can almost guarantee I know what I would have that allocation look like if I were to have it in my hands right now. And it's just, Mark, I have to say, so often people just make it way, way more complicated than they need to. And it doesn't have to be that complicated.
They just don't know. I mean, before I became interested in this and figured out what I was doing, when I first met you, once a year, I'd have you pick out all my 401k stuff because I just didn't know. And that's how most people are.
And then you fired me. You're like, you suck.
Yeah. Bye-bye. And your fee was way too high.
Way, way, way too high, which was just putting up with me. Okay. This is from Michael, who has a question, and the subject is job change asset allocation question. Okay. Jill and Mark, love the show. Thanks in advance for answering my question. Okay. I need some help with a little bit of a mess, not a bad one we find ourselves in. 3 questions, and I hope you can help me out. Here's a quick rundown of where we sit. 401k, $815,000, $270,000 in a Roth, brokerage account, $330,000, cash, holy smokes, $980,000. That's a lot of cash, to be honest. The house is $1 million. It's got $585,000 in equity. So, all right, it's got a mortgage. Most of the money is in an index fund mix of small, medium, large tech value and a small portion in international. This is exactly the problem I want you guys to all avoid, but okay. So Michael is 45 years old, married, 2 kids who are 17 and 15, going to pay for college out of cash flow. Question 1 is, what do we do with the cash that's earning roughly 5% right now? I sold some investments. I never put it back in the market with interest rates where they were and feeling the market is high. And yes, I know timing the market is not possible. Okay. I like to get it into the market, and I know time in the market is better than time out of the market. Would you dollar cost average or just go in with 80% of the cash right now? Okay. Second question. I'm going to get back to this. So the second question is, are we in good position for the future once we get our allocation right? And 3, I'm considering changing jobs. Right now I make 400 grand a year. If I make the switch, income will fall from 400 to, let's call it 320 to 340. Let's say 320. But I'll have more control and be happier. That sounds much better. Lifestyle would not be impacted. Savings rate would. I do think we have set ourselves up for the future and how we've saved thus far, and I should be okay. Just wanted to get your opinion. Do I stay in a job that I've lost my passion for due to money, or do I go somewhere else for less money but more happiness? Okay. Can I start with number 3? We go for happiness, my friends.
Yeah.
We go for happiness all day long.
Especially when it's maybe just $60,000 difference.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's 80,000,
yeah,
I still.
Come on.
I mean, come on. We're not going to make no. Do not stay in this job just for the money. So in terms of your your position for the future, you left out a critical issue, and that is how much money do you guys spend? Because the allocation could be right, and it's okay to even have some cash, but like having obviously almost $1 million in cash is silly. So it looks like you're in great shape, but it depends a lot on how much you spend and what your future plans are. I'm not so sure about this idea about the 2 boys and paying it out of cash flow. Why wouldn't you just open up a 529 account and dump some money in right now? And therefore, the money that's sitting in your cash account, you don't have to worry about. You can just like start putting more money into brokerage. Like you get the money invested, but it'll be a protected tax advantage account for the 17 and 15-year-old. I don't know. I think I would do that right now. And then for the brokerage investment of the rest of the money, you leave yourself enough cash that's like a normal amount of cash, your emergency reserve. I mean, you tell me, what kind of person are you? Are you going to like gnash your teeth if the market plummets right after you do this? Do you feel just more in control of it if you put 100 grand a month in for the next 6 months? It's up to you. What would you do, Mark? Would you just pop it all in at once?
I would personally do it all at once, and I have a feeling that this guy is 100% stocks.
I have a feeling that's true also. In the brokerage account, you mean?
I think everywhere.
100% in stocks.
That's
guess. An interesting question then. So we don't know exactly where you live. I'd love to hear more from you, Michael, if even if you just follow up. We want to know what state you live in, what's the tax bracket, and also maybe we could even help you. Maybe there would be an interesting idea here where you would throw a bunch of money into the brokerage account and buy some bonds, which have not gone up by as much. And so I would be much, because it's funny, you're right, Mark. I read this, the index funds, small, medium, large tech value, and a small portion in international. Like I don't see any bonds. And also, is any of the money that you have in that brokerage account, any losses in there? Should we just clean this up for once and for all? I'd like to know more. You seem like you're in very good shape, though. You really do. I do think that the guy was in cash for all this time. So I feel a little bit like if he goes all in now and he gets smoked, then that'll just like freak him out. So I'd love to hear more about you. And, that would be an important piece of this, is kind of how you feel. It's the Jill on Money Show, and we will be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show. And if you've got something going on in your life that remotely resembles a financial question, maybe you're making a big decision, whatever it is, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. If you want to join us live, check that box, and Mark will do everything in his power to get you on the air. Right now, we're going to Jennifer, who's on the line from the Pacific Northwest. Hello, Jennifer.
Good morning or good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for taking my call. It's an old-timey kind of conversation
Old
here.
school.
Like, right? I'm with you. I often will be like, caller, and no, it's not caller. It's, I don't know, let's just say listener Jennifer. What is on your mind?
Well, I called in 2022 to ask about mostly retirement potential and how to fund my kids' college.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I had about 70K and a 529. And I was overpaying my mortgage, and you set me right on that.
Okay.
And you shifted that money to the 529, and that's all good.
Yeah.
But you also said I have ESPP and RSUs,
Yes.
and you said to stop doing the ESPPs. And
Okay.
I didn't listen, Jill. I didn't
Okay.
listen, but my company stock went way, way up.
All right. So good for
And-
you not listening to me.
Yeah. And in that moment, I sold a whole bunch of stock. I sold about 200K worth of stock.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So my
Jeez.
kids' college is fully funded.
All right.
I sold about 2/3 of that stock at the
Okay.
highest possible moment. Okay, so there it is.
Great.
Now with that 200K, I
Mhm.
funded 125 in her 529, and I saved the remainder for taxes, thinking I'd have a big emergency fund. Thinking, I knew there was going to be a big hit for this big. So then, let's see, my
Wait a second.
company,
Just one quick question. When did you sell the stock?
2024.
Okay. We don't have to pay that till next spring, is what you're saying.
Right. So
Okay.
I'm totally aware of that. Now, what happened in the same year that happened to be the big tax year was while the company stock was going up, they stopped giving out RSUs. All right. Once it's worth a lot, they stopped giving them out. I didn't know that was going to be a problem because I'm a big saver. I always did my, you can do the 22% default of RSUs or the 38%.
Mm-hmm.
I did 38%. And
Mhm.
all along, I was getting a lot of RSUs, and my withholdings were low because on
Mm.
my W-4, I said I'm married filing jointly, which I am, but apparently
I thought
that's
you were
not
going to
good
say, like,
enough.
I'm lying. I was
No,
not.
no. I always thought I was fine until I have a financial person who looked at it and said, well, you need to do the safe harbor
Mhm.
payment for
Mhm.
2024. And I said, wait a minute. I thought, what are you talking about? And she said, because you didn't, these RSUs offset your low withholdings. Now you
Mhm.
have to pay this huge withholding. So I paid for just the safe harbor just to
Mhm.
get me up to my safe harbor. I paid 25K already without even the taxes on the profit
All
of
right.
the
All
big
right.
sale.
So, okay.
Um,
It's all right.
well, now my issue is I'm ready to, all this money, that's fine. It was kind of free money. It's fine that it's all going to taxes, but I don't know what to do in the future because my cash flow is so tight that I can't do the withholdings. I can't make extra withholdings to make up this 25,000 every year.
Well, why don't you just
You see what
reduce
I
the
mean?
amount of money for the RSUs
No, the RSUs are automatically taxed.
at the time of grant or the time
Yeah,
of? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So if I don't, and I sat on them for years. That's why I didn't know this. I sat on them for years, all along getting taxed. I'm sorry, getting withheld really high at that 38%.
Mm.
And now that there aren't RSUs, that high offset isn't helping that my withholding is so low.
All right.
So
So
how
wait a
do I
second. How
pay
much-
this tax bill?
How much money do you make?
I make 140.
And your spouse?
He is a stay-at-home dad.
Okay. How old are you, Jennifer?
I am comfortable with 36, but I'm 55.
I don't want to be 36 again. I want to go back. Let's just have a moment for a second. You want your body to be 36, but you don't want your brain to be 36.
Agreed.
Okay. Now, let's go
Or
through.
your bank account.
Really, exactly right. What money have you accumulated? That's what I want to know. So we have the college fund is done.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you have?
Okay. Pre-tax, I have 700. I'm just going to estimate these. 700 in an IRA from a previous 401k. The husband has an inherited IRA of 400,000.
How long do we have? What's the clock on that?
That was granted in 2014, so I don't have to do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
60K, husband's got an IRA.
Mm-hmm.
Another 30K in an inherited Roth. I have a 401k for my current company, about 250.
What about cash in the bank?
We have a joint brokerage of 750.
750 grand in your brokerage account?
Yes.
And you're whining about the taxes that we have to pay? Come on.
I am whining about the taxes I have to pay.
Oh my God. Poor
Oh, please
you.
help me out. Come on.
All right. I got to get you off your pity pot in about a minute. Keep going.
Okay. I have a 70 in my own brokerage, about 100 left in ESPP. That's, that could shrink down to nothing or that could grow. I have another 50K in RSUs that are vested. But again, that can go up and down. Probably got about 25K in cash.
Do you work with you said a financial person. So you have a CFP or a financial advisor. Is that what you have?
I have a CFP.
Do you work with a CPA also, like an actual tax person?
I just started. So the financial guy has a CPA on staff who's
great.
the one that told me about the safe harbor, but she doesn't do taxes. So I do TurboTax every year. I got to get a professional this year, and I found that person. So
get with that person and say, I need you to do a dummy tax return for me. I need you to look at where I am, right, and get me the number. You need to know the number. What do you, because based on what the financial person saw and the in-house CPA, what do they estimate you need to have set aside for the sale of the stock from the employee stock purchase plan?
Right. They say about 50. Which is exactly what I have left over.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you need 50 grand extra. Do you have any other near-term needs for you guys, for your family?
No.
Not nothing
really.
within the next 12 months, right? Okay.
No. Just vacation. I'll use a bonus for that. Yeah.
Okay. When's the bonus?
Bonus, the big one is in April.
We'll get back to Jennifer in just a moment. It's Jill on Money.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's Jill on Money. Let's return to our conversation with Jennifer. I would sell as much as I could to raise some money out of your brokerage account. And I don't know what percentage of the account is losses or not. I would start taking those losses. I would grab my cash right now. I'd get a $50,000 CD and pop your $50,000 into that CD right away. Right away. And then your tax bill is paid for. It's over there. Okay. Push it aside. But I would do that now. And then you don't have to think about it again. And you really should be, in a year like this, I think, you had a huge tax event, right? So now the next piece of this is you're going to work with your CPA and your CFP to make sure you've got a game plan for how you are going to pay the increased tax bill. Right now, what are you contributing to your retirement account, into your current retirement, your 401k? How much are you putting in there?
I do the maximum of 30.
Because maybe you shouldn't.
Oh.
Maybe we need your cash flow. If you look at the amount of money, I don't know how much money you guys spent, but you got a lot of money saved. So what do you expect in terms of your like you said, my vacations, I have fun. But what do you think that spending is going to look like in the next few years? Give me the dollar amount that you think you spend every year.
100 grand. Yeah.
And
that's with the mortgage and all that good stuff. But that's yeah.
And you will not have any pension, right?
No pension.
And what's your game plan for when you would retire?
Yeah, I think about it all day, every day.
All day, every day? That's no. You think of it a few times a day, not all day.
60 is the longest I can go. 60. If they don't.
Okay. All right.
If they don't boot me out first, yeah.
Because you've been whining and complaining
about
your tax
I'm old.
bill. I'm totally kidding you. Okay. So if that's the case, we got 5 more years. And then at that point, you guys, you're going to just stop working completely, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then maybe what you do is you start at that point to pull some of the money out of the inherited IRA. You start
Okay.
using that to live on, and while your
Oh.
tax bracket is low, because you're going to have this very interesting period of time, between 60 and, I guess for you, what's your full retirement age? 67.
Yes.
So you're going to need 100 grand a year. So you have the inherited IRA to use. We got to get this money out of here. So you're going to need to take the money out, 120 grand a year, 130 grand. You're going to get rid of that. That's going to be done. Maybe we take it out of her pre-tax IRA. Let me think about that, because the inherited IRA, is there a required minimum distribution at some point on that?
Yeah. Every year there's required out of both of those.
Okay, so let's do that. So let's try to do let's do the inherited IRA first and pull that money out and get rid of it. And it'll be done, right? Because you're going to plow through it. You got to get rid of it eventually. And then you'll start using your pre-tax IRA. Nice and easy.
Okay.
You're going to do that. It's going to be easy peasy. Get this kid through school. It's not a problem. And then what are you going to be left with? You're going to be left with, how much money is in your current 401k? You said 250?
250.
5 years, you're not going to put 30 grand a year away, but it's going to grow and it's going to be good and you're going to be fine. And then you get to have the ESP, the RSUs. What happens upon retirement with those? Do you have to kind of get rid? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. The RSU, well, the ESPP you own, so those are but the other ones, there's just not going to be enough of them. They kind of stopped doing it. So they have to vest 4 years, so they'll be vested.
Okay. So when you retire, they're like, yes, this is all your money, basically.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. So then I think what we're trying to do is get the money out of pre-tax accounts from 60 to 67. What will your Social Security benefit be at age 67?
At age 67, it's $3,600 a month.
What's
if
70?
I make it to 70, it's $4,600.
Oof. And your husband will be claiming on your record, or did he work previously?
He worked previously. It's little, but yeah. His is between like $600 and $1,000 a month.
So he'll be claiming based on your record, basically. Is he the same age or older?
He's older. He's 60.
You're going to have a lot of money here. Mark, do you think that Jennifer is entitled to whine about her tax liability or not? Should we give it to her or not?
Does she want some cheese?
Well, in my defense, I don't think it's a whining. I just want to know where I should pull the money from.
You're laughing at me, and I'm laughing at you.
You have a $700,000 brokerage account, right?
I want to sell the losers in the brokerage account. That's what I want to do. Sell the losers. Okay?
So every year when the tax bill comes, I just go to the brokerage account and I take whatever money I need to pay that bill. That's
exactly it. What about estate planning? Is that all done?
Oh, Jill.
Jennifer.
I have a pretty dated will. So yeah, I promise you, as soon as taxes are done, I will focus on that.
You say that. But okay. All right. I'm going to believe you. I think that this is great. Listen. So let's recap. Jill, you gave me lousy advice about the employee stock purchase plan. I gave you prudent advice, not lousy advice. You couldn't have known.
Advice. Nobody knew. It's fine. Nobody knew it was coming.
So that's number one. Number two, yay, you have more money than you thought. That's great. So you got the college funded. Amazing. You're going to have to pay a heftier tax bill, which is again, because of this windfall, which is a good thing. Oh my God, it's so great. And I'm so happy for you. All I want you to do is to, at least once you get to the point where you're you've got a grip on the tax situation, you say, oh, I'm so lucky I get to pay all these taxes. That's what I want. That's my hope for you, is you'll get there. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are here trying to help you make better or less bad financial decisions. We do that by encouraging you to go to our website, jillonmoney.com. While you're there, you can check out all of the content that lives there. We've got an amazing weekly newsletter, comes out every Friday. You can sign up for it free every single Friday. Also, we've got a YouTube show, another free item, Jill on Money powered by the Compound. We've got a link to that. And if you've got a few bucks to spend, we've got a subscription service called Jill on Money Live. That's where you have access to quarterly live webinars, the back catalog of those webinars, as well as more special content, all for $35 for the next 12 months. It's probably the lowest subscription service you'll ever have. So check it out, Jill on Money Live. Right now, let's take a question. This is from Suzanne, who writes, I have a $10,000 bond that has matured, and it's worth about $20,000. I would like to know if I should reinvest this money. And also, do I have to pay taxes on the $10,000 or do I have to pay taxes on the $20,000 that it's worth today? And what would happen if I took some of the money out and just kept it? Well, Suzanne, it sounds like you're talking about a savings bond. Maybe it's a double E or an I bond. The way savings bonds work is you buy them for one price, in your case $10,000. They grow to another price over the term or the life of the bond, $20,000 in your case. So the tax that is due is the appreciation from $10,000 to $20,000. Now, that $10,000 gain from 10 to 20, it's all taxable income as interest. So it's just going to add to your tax liability for the year. And as to whether or not you want to reinvest it, it probably depends more on what else is going on in your life. And I'd love for you to get back in touch with us just to know whether you're parking this money or this is seen as an investment or there's some purpose to it. So get back in touch with us. We'd really love to help you out. If you've got a financial question, just go to our website, jillonmoney.com. Click the Contact Us button, and of course, check the box if you'd like to join us on the air live. Hey, while you're on the website, we've got lots of great content. We've got 2 podcasts. One is called Jill on Money, just like this show, and we also have the Money Watch podcast. We've got a blog. We've got resources, everything there for you. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the program that tries to help you make better or at least less bad financial decisions. Let's get going with John, who's on the line from New Jersey. Hello, John. How are you?
Hey, Jill and Mark. Pleasure is all mine.
Oh,
Glad to be with you
fabulous.
guys today.
What brings you to us?
Well, I'm looking for some feedback, trying to get some, basically a health check, see where I'm at. I am looking to see if I could possibly sort of transition from a full-time job to a part-time job. Once I hit that magic number of 59 and a half.
How old are you now?
I am 53.
Okay, so we're looking at 59 and a half, and it would be transition from full-time to part-time in something different or just less of what you do now?
It would be different. It
Okay.
would be something different.
Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. John, are you working full-time right now, and also are you partnered or married?
I am working full-time right now. I am married.
Does your spouse
I have
work?
3 kids.
Oh,
She works, it's just like a little gig on the side. So I would say she brings in a little bit of money, but the bulk of our income comes from my work.
how much do you earn?
Annual income, including bonus, I would say it's about 165.
And your wife, you said she just makes like 10 or like?
Yeah, I would say about 10. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And 165 includes your bonus?
Yes.
Okay. So on that, with 3 kids in New Jersey, how you doing? Like, it feels like that's not a ton of money to be in the tri-state area.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's we get by.
Okay.
So
All right.
not doing too bad.
How old are your kids?
I have one that's in college. She's 20. I have two other ones. One's high school and one's middle school. So
Spread out.
17 and 15.
It's clear to me that you're totally guessing this right now. It's very clear to me. I want you to know I'm glad that you're not using your real name because it's embarrassing a little bit, but I love it. Okay. So you guys own a home?
Yes.
Okay. How much is the house worth?
It's worth about $600K.
Mortgage outstanding?
Yes.
How much?
Not very much though. It'll be paid off next year.
What?
About 20K.
Why is that? I mean, that's like amazing. You don't make that much money, but that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, in our earlier years, I used to put a little bit more towards the mortgage, but I stopped that.
Okay. And then the house appreciated. So, okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Now, what about college? Like, how is the 20-year-old paying for college? Are you paying for college? What's going on?
I had started 529 for each of them when they were born. So, I've been doing that for a while. So I am paying for it.
How much is in the 529 account for each of those three kids?
So I have about 190K in the 529. And then separately, I have about 100K in cash. That's earmarked for college.
Wow. You are a serious saver, man. That's a lot. Let's see if you did as good a job for yourself. What have you guys saved for retirement? So you've got a house that's almost paid for. It sounds like college is pretty close. I mean, are your kids, are they state or private school bound?
I would say state.
Okay. So we got college covered, right? Almost 300 grand. This seems like you're in good shape, no?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of depends. I know my oldest is thinking about grad school. So, we might chip in a little bit there.
All right.
But I would say, yeah, the bulk of it should be covered.
Okay. That's great. That's really great. Okay. So next I have a question for you. How about your retirement savings? What have you done?
Okay. So, I'll give you some of the numbers. I have an IRA, a couple of IRAs between my wife and I. So it's about 190K.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 45 of that is traditional and the rest is Roth.
Okay, that's great. Next.
Then I have sort of a cash, I guess they call it cash balance pension.
Mm-hmm. Is that part of your current employer or is that from a previous employer?
It's a combination of previous and current.
Okay, so cash balance pension plan.
It's about 225.
Okay.
225K. So, and I have a question to that too. I'm sort of debating whether I do the lump sum or, doing the annuity.
Right.
I'm kind of leaning towards the lump sum, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I could go either way.
So do you have, so if this were a pension benefit, do you have the calculation that they've done on your behalf?
Yeah, they have a calculator that you can sort of, get a rough estimate, in terms of what you would get, depending on, what you select. Okay. And they have different options in terms of survivorship.
Okay. I'm sort of interested in that. We'll do that in a second. So, okay, let's just keep going. 190 in IRA, 45 traditional, rest in Roth, 225 in the cash balance. What else?
Then I have in the 401k, I have 1.8 million.
Wow. Here comes the money. Okay.
Yeah.
And then?
All that's pre-tax.
Yeah, that's a bummer. But okay. Whatever. It's money. It's a lot of money. You did a great job.
Thank you. And then I just have like an HSA. It's
How
about
much?
50K.
Money in the bank?
Yeah. I got some cash, and I have some individual stocks that just play around with. The stocks is about 18K.
Okay.
And the cash is about, which includes that 100K. It's about 193K.
But really, it's like the 90 is like your emergency reserve.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Now, if you really looked hard, and I don't want you to scrimp and save, but I want you to tell me how much you think you need to live on. So this is going to be hard because as I look ahead for you guys, if we're talking 6.5 years from now, it's essentially you're done with college and the kids are out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously your cost structure is going to change a little bit, but let's presume that someone's still cooking around there and you'll pay for that. Like, what are you spending right now on a monthly basis?
We're spending it all.
What do you mean you're not spending it all? You got 1.8, you got all this money saved and you don't have any debt.
Well, I guess, yeah, I'm kind of, sort of defining what I'm saving as spending, but
yeah, that's not spending. It's a little bit different.
Yeah. No, I got
because
you.
what you're saving right now, 30 grand in your 401k, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what else are you doing on an ongoing basis?
We're maxing out the HSA.
Mm-hmm.
We're putting the 529. We're probably doing like 1,000 a month.
So, I mean, listen, out of your 165 or 175, let's call it, it's like you're saving rather. Sounds to me like you're saving almost 60 grand. Is that right?
Doesn't feel like that.
All right.
I would say that we're probably, I would say, if I take out sort of the savings, we probably need about, I'm going to say 100 to 120.
I just wrote down 10 grand a month. I'm so happy. Okay, so 10 grand a month is what we need. We'll get back to John in just a minute. You're listening to Jill on Money, and we'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We're answering your financial questions. Actually, we're answering your life questions because almost every life decision you make has some sort of financial impact. If something's going on, get in touch with us. Go to jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you want to join us live, just check the box. Let's get back to our conversation with John, who's on the line from New Jersey. When you go into this different role, right? When you go full-time to part-time, what is it that you think you would be earning at that time? 59 and a half. Give me what you think.
I'm thinking half, so, let's say 70, maybe 70.
And you would basically, so you would say, all right, you're going to earn 70 grand. You're not going to save any money on that. You're done with college and maybe you'll save a tiny bit in retirement, but maybe not. So at that time, in 6.5 years, your 1.8 million will have grown, you're going to keep putting 30 grand a year away. So, Mark, could you do a quick calculation for me? Just do 6 years, 1.8 million, 6 years, and add 30 grand a year to that. I bet it's like 2.5 million. What I'm thinking is that at that time when you're turning 59 and a half, that we're going to pull some of the money out of your 401k so you can live on it, because that money is just going to compound, get bigger, and then you're going to be 75 and you are going to have to really get jammed with required minimum distributions. Because as it goes up, we don't know where tax rates are. I mean, we might be able to control some of the tax hit today. So, Mark, what's 1.8 million for 6.5 years plus the 30 grand a year? What does that grow to?
You're looking at about 2.7.
Oh, I said 2.5, and I'm a big wimp. All right, so 2.7. So then, it's kind of wild. You could make 70. Let's say at 59 and a half. Let's say instead of making 70, you're like, I'm making 60. You could pull 100 grand a year out for 10 years out of that account, or 100 in index for inflation. And that could be a darn good idea just to get some of that money out and to live on it. How would you feel about spending the money once you have stopped working full time?
Yeah, I would have no problem with that.
Good. All right, terrific. Because we're going to make a big dent in that. So then from, how long do you think you'd work part-time? What should we run that to? Is it?
Yeah, that's the big
10
question.
years?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think I'd want to do 10 years, but maybe.
How about your full retirement, your Social Security full retirement age? How would you feel about 67?
Yeah,
not so much.
I was thinking more 65.
Okay, so you do it for 5 years. So then
Yeah.
65 to 70, we're going to keep pulling money out, but it's going to be more money that comes out, right? Because you got to replace your 70, and we're still pulling money out. What's your Social Security benefit at age 70?
Let's see, I got it here.
I bet you do. I knew this was the kind of game.
4,600.
I think this can work. Here's how I'm seeing this. And, you know, I don't know. This is based on today's tax basis, okay? You're 59 and a half, you're done, you're like, see ya. You make 60 grand or so for, you know, from 60 to 65. And then you're pulling out 100 or 120 grand a year from that retirement account, from that 401k. And also, obviously, it's probably in the, you know, combined with whatever your old traditional IRAs, but you're going to pull out about 100 to 120 grand a year. You're going to do that for those 5 years. Then for the subsequent 5 years, the number's going to get bigger. It's going to be more like 200 grand a year for 5 years. So you're like, we're talking real money, right? Like it's $1 million here or $500,000 there. And all of a sudden you're talking real money, right? But at the end, when you're 70, you claim Social Security. So now we can pull back on the amount of money you're sucking out of the 401, the traditional account. And you're able to probably be able to fund this straight. Your retirement, my guess is you're going to be completely done with like meeting your needs with the money that you have inside of that pre-tax 401k. Now, I didn't add your cash balance plan into this. The way that you might look at this is if you have a cash balance plan, maybe for you, it might be nice to say, well, I'd like to have that money coming. Remember, it's taxable to you, right? So if you turn that pension on, it's taxable income to you. So it's a question of like, do you want that because you like stream of income? I don't know how much it would be. I don't know if like that's something that you think, or you could take the lump sum, roll it into whatever the traditional account is that you have and just add it to the kitty. But I don't see any problem here. Mark, do you see any problem? I mean, I was dubious when John said he was only 53, but 53 out at 59 and a half, work for 5.5 years part-time, then retire at 65, get your Medicare, do not draw Social Security until you're 70. So you keep pulling money out of that traditional account, have that for the next 5 years. Age 70 kicks in, your Social Security kicks in, you keep pulling money out of the pre-tax number so that you, again, all we're trying to do is make sure that when you get to age 75 and you have to take a required distribution, that it is not happening at a bad time for you guys, or maybe in a weird tax time where you're forced to take so much money out and we don't know what the tax rate's going to be. So I think this all works. It's amazing.
Are you leaning towards like the lump sum? Because that's the thing I wasn't really sure whether, you know.
I mean, I would have to look at it. You're no longer contributing to that cash plan. You said it was a combination. So
yeah, it's a combination. So I am, you know, with my current employer, but not with my previous employer. I'm more
okay. So it depends, like what the actual calculation is. They'll tell you. They'll give you all the numbers. And if you want to send that, follow up with us to do that. But I think usually what happens is when there's a dormant cash balance plan, it usually is like ripe for rollover because it's not as like the benefits are not accruing, right? It's just kind of there. The current one, I don't know, maybe it would be worth it. How much is what's the breakout? You said it's 225 total. What's old, what's new, what's current?
The old one has about, I'm going to say it's about 175 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then the rest is in the current.
And are these related entities at all, the old and the new?
No.
Okay.
No, completely different, yeah.
I mean, they're both going to have different, I don't know, it's not huge money on the new one, so maybe I would just probably roll them both, but more for ease of management. But I don't want to give you that answer without knowing what the actual numbers are. My guess is you'll do a lump sum, and you'll roll it into just say, okay, I have a traditional, you said you have a traditional IRA, 45 grand. You'd roll that in. You'd roll your 401k in there. Everything gets sucked into that, right? So then you'd have, like, in today's dollars, $2.1 million in a traditional account. And that's going to serve you well. That's going to finance this little dalliance of yours. You can go eat your bonbons. What are you going to do part-time? Something completely different. We have had people who are like ball boys in tennis tournaments. They work in like weird different things. They volunteer. What is it that you're going to do part-time? Can you even think of it now?
I don't know. That's a good question. I like helping people out. So, it depends. Maybe a nonprofit somewhere.
All right. I like it. I like it. I like it very much. Okay. Well, listen, let's stay in touch, but I think you're in great shape. Mark, do you have anything else to add to this?
No, I'm still amazed, knowing where they live and what his salary is, that he's able to save so much.
It's amazing. It really is. It's great. And congratulations. If you have follow-up questions, let us know. Don't forget, you've got to do all of your estate planning. You got to make sure you have that done so you don't hear me talking in your sleep like, oh, did you do your estate planning? That has to get done. And, just tidy things up and you'll be all set. Do you have a financial question? Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. This is a program that is trying to help navigate your financial journey with you. We've got no judgment about how you got to the place where you are. We just want to help you get where you want to go, maybe by laying out different options that you never considered previously. If you'd like to come on the air with us, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll get your note. If you want to join us live, don't forget to check the box, and Mark will do everything else. Hey, while you're on the website, we've got lots of great content. We've got 2 podcasts. One is called Jill on Money, just like this show, and that comes out every single day, so you should check that out. And we also have the Money Watch podcast. We've got a blog. We've got resources, everything there for you. So just bookmark the site, JillOnMoney.com. You won't miss a thing. Right now, let's talk to Ashley and Brian. They're on the line from the Bay Area. I don't know if it's couples therapy, but it is a couple, and I love getting both sides of the equation because, when you are a couple, you are also a financial couple, not just a romantic one. So welcome, you guys. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you.
All right. Who is the one who pushed for this call? Let's find out. Ashley, you start. What brings you to us?
I'm a previous call-in. I was on the show in January, I believe, of 2023. And we talked about Brian. Brian and I have since had some changes. We moved in together. Jill, you pushed for that. We moved in together. He's had a job change. Just getting some growth and just making sure that we're nice and stable. And that's where
Why
we
did
are.
I tell you to move in together? Just to save money, or because because I said like what was my rationale for that?
It was exactly that. You were like, you know how to cut some of those high Bay Area costs, and I said, yeah. And you were like, yeah. So
all right, then I like it. I hope I didn't say it for love because it's actually nicer to have your own space.
Yeah. Hear Brian's laugh.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what's going on and how we can help you out. First, Ashley, how old are you?
I am 40.
And Brian?
I am 51.
And are you guys married or just cohabitating?
Cohabitating.
Okay. And whose house?
Renting.
Oh, okay. How's the rent in the Bay Area?
Well, when you go from a 2-bed, 2-bath to a 1-bed, 1-bath, it's much better.
Oh, funny how that happened. So what are you paying in rent?
We pay about altogether, and I say altogether because, of course, parking and all the expenses. It's probably about $5,200 for a one bed, one bath.
For a one bedroom. With your cohabitation and going from a 2-bedroom to a 1-bedroom, are you guys saving a ton of money now?
Yes, we're probably saving about $1,000 to $1,200 each per month.
Each? Wow. All right. Are you
Yes.
guys both working full time?
Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. So, Brian, how much do you earn?
250,000 per year.
Go back. I like the 3 better.
Yeah, you and me both. I had a vision in my head. It didn't work.
Okay, I understand. Okay, and Ashley, how about you?
283.
Oh, wow. You guys make a lot of money together. But let me ask you a funny question when I said about the saving. Are you saying you save $1,000 to $1,200 a month each in addition to any retirement savings?
Yes, that's in addition to.
Okay. So tell us on your 250, Brian, how much are you putting away into retirement?
So I'm maximizing. We have a 403B at the hospital that we work at, and I'm doing catch up, so 30,000 a year.
Is it pre-tax or is it a Roth?
Pre-tax.
Okay, got it. How much is in there?
And there currently is 15,000 as of today. I just started this job though in April, so I'm catching up for the year.
Where's the rest of the moolah that you saved up?
I had a previous job and I already had put, I think, 4,000 into a 457 at that job. That 457 has 66,000 in it from my time at the previous job.
And any other retirement savings from the past?
Yes, I have an IRA, 335,000. I have a Roth with 11,000, and I have a brokerage with 102,000.
Okay, that's
and
great.
And I have a high yield Marcus, about 4.5% that has 116 in it.
Is that earmarked for anything?
Well, that's one of the questions that we have.
Okay.
We just moved $48,000 into it from the sale of an RV. And
whose RV?
It was ours, mine, ours. It's complicated, but it was mine. So that money is sitting there, not earmarked, and that's one of the questions: is what to do with that 48,000.
Okay, so of the 116, it's higher just because of the. I'm just going to say 50 grand from the RV. Okay, got
Correct.
it.
Yep.
Okay, that's awesome. So great for you. So. That's it for the assets. No rental property, no I own my mother's house or anything like that.
No.
Okay. Ashley, for your 283, are you also putting money into a retirement account?
Yes, I am maxing out my 403B.
Okay.
And right now I was trying to log in. So I've got about 443.
Okay.
And part of that, as we spoke about last time I was on, I had some rollover IRAs that my employer allowed me to go ahead and roll into their retirement plan. So I put that in there. And then I have a Roth with 27, and then a brokerage with 124.
Okay. So when you're each saving your $1,000 to $1,200, you're each putting money into your own brokerage accounts?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And then I've got a high yield savings account that has about right at 50,000 in it. And, our monthly expenses are fairly low. We both have about 5,300 to 5,500, call it 6,000 each on a month where we like to travel. And what ends up happening with that is that leaves me, and that's with take home, I still have about 3,000 to 4,000 a month that I'm putting in a brokerage.
We'll get back to Ashley and Brian in just a moment. If you would like to join us, and it's so much fun when you do it with a spouse, but also fun if you want to do it with a parent or an adult child. Whatever is going on, we'd love to hear from you. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get your note. Don't forget to check the box if you want to join us live. It's the Jill on Money Show. We'll be right back.
401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are trying to help you make better, less bad, more considered financial decisions. We do that by encouraging you to get in touch with us. All you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, there is a little button. It says Contact Us. You click on the button, a form pops out, and there it is. That's the email we received from you. If you would like to join us live, you check the box. And Mark, the greatest executive producer in the whole world, will do everything else. We'll get you on the air with us. And the reason we love to have you on the air is that we love to hear your stories, but it allows us to also ask follow-up questions. And I think that's incredibly important in the process of kind of peeling back all the layers of your financial lives and also maybe uncover some of the issues you didn't even know you had. So do that. Come on the air. It's a lot of fun. We can always change your name. Don't worry. You're not going to be embarrassed. Right now, let's continue our conversation with Ashley and Brian from the Bay Area. Is there anything else out there that is lurking? Like, is there any debt?
Just my vehicle is $50,000, so the payment's about $850 a month.
What's the interest rate on that $50,000?
It is 5.7%.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Right.
And that's the only debt? No school loans, no
None.
other. Okay. No credit card. Okay.
Nothing.
So there is no desire that you're not going to tell me you have to buy some $2 million townhouse or something, right?
Absolutely not.
No way. You're loving. Did you guys own real estate previously?
We both did individually before we were together.
And how? So let me ask you something. I was just being interviewed by one of my colleagues in the news bureau, and she's like, well, what would you tell somebody who wants to buy and they can't? I say, rent. Now, do you want to extol the virtue of renting to our audience?
Yes. If anything breaks, you just call somebody or send an email and they come to your apartment and fix it for you. And it doesn't cost you any money. How about that?
So like that maintenance is a killer.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that often people are like, oh, it's the principal and the interest. Well, it's also the insurance and it's the maintenance. And it's like even not just breaking, just like the ongoing stuff that happens, right? Just
yes.
For me, I owned a 2-bed, 2-bath condo. And what kept happening was everything was great. I refied after the pandemic, had a really nice low rate. I wasn't spending a lot of time there because Brian lived north, and so I was traveling north to see him a lot of the time. I worked north, and I wasn't spending a lot of time, and then the HOA fees kept going up for lack of services and what they provided, and that I had no control over that. So that was really cutting into any fun I was having at my condo, owning my condo. It just really took away the shiny parts of it.
That's awesome, though. I love that you just you pull the trigger. You guys are living large. You're so good at this, in this process. Okay, so now, Mark Talercio, how would you feel about paying off this auto loan at 5.7%?
I would do it.
I think I would too. I would too.
Love it.
I would too. I think that there's like this weird karmic part of it. So no, number one is obviously the money, and you could put the money in the brokerage account. But, I don't know. I feel like it came out of the RV. It's going to go to pay down an auto loan. It's just like pay that sucker off and then just keep cranking on your investing. You're doing a great job and don't look back. But I would take that money and pay off the loan, 5.7% after tax. You guys do live in, a high tax state. So even with the money you're earning, which is a lot, and, I know that you're filing singly, but, you're both in the top, let's see, you're probably at 24, 32-ish, for your top bracket. And, you got to pay the state of California. I'm very happy that you live there. It's all good. But, to net 5.7%, you got to make 10% to net that 5.7. And by the way, you would do it with no risk. And there's no way for me to get you a clean after-tax 5.7% return with zero risk. So I would do it.
Great.
Right?
And I talked to Brian and I said, you know what Jill's going to say? Also, there is this piece of making you feel better. It's like people who want to pay their mortgages off early because it makes them feel better. And we looked at that and we said, Brian, for up until this point, he's actually been leasing vehicles. So he's had very low, but that means he's also essentially had no debt. And now he has a truck. And he said, well, now I have debt and I'm not used to that. And I said, if it makes you feel better not to have that, that may be the answer Jill gives you. So this is really definitive. Yeah.
And you know what? If you had zero liquidity, if you had no money in your high yield savings or in your brokerage account, I might not give you this advice. You know, if you said if we flip some of the numbers around, right? And you said to me, okay, what I have is $500,000 in my 457 plan, then I wouldn't say take money out of your plan or borrow money to pay off the debt. I'd just say, okay, whittle that debt down. But you have the money, and it's like a weirdly karmic thing that an RV sale is allowing you to buy to pay off this debt. And then you just keep putting that money away. I think it's a great plan, and I like it. If you have a big decision that you're making, or maybe something's causing you anxiety, consternation, or maybe not even that heavy duty, just want to know if you're on track, give us a holler. Go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. We'll be right back. You're back. It's the Jill on Money Show. And before we conclude the program, we've got to squeeze in one extra question. Remember, if you've got a question, anything going on, just go to the website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note. That's the email we receive. And if you want to join us live, check the box. Mark will do everything else. This is from Danny, who writes, my wife opened a mutual fund for our daughter about 10 years ago, and it now has about $30,000 in it. We know we have to roll it over or turn it over to her when she is 18 years old. And now that she is 18 and a freshman in college, we just don't know what to do with it. We don't want to pay taxes on it now. We want to reinvest it so she can save for a down payment on a house after she graduates from college. Okay, this is a great opportunity for me to remind everybody about UGMA and UTMA accounts. These are custodial accounts where the parent or guardian, whoever opened the account, is in control of it while the named beneficiary is a minor. When the child reaches the age of majority, which does depend on your state of residence, anywhere between 18 and 25, the account then transfers into that kid's name. I think that if your daughter doesn't need the money, you just leave the assets inside of this account that have now been transferred to her name as is. I don't think that triggers any sort of tax liability. Now, that said, maybe it would make sense to pay the taxes because her tax bracket is so low that you may want to clean this account up a little bit. And maybe it might make sense for her to actually open a Roth IRA if she has some earned income. Because don't forget that when you have that Roth IRA, if you were to need the money for a house, let's say, as long as the account is open for 5 years, the owner can withdraw up to $10,000 in earnings to buy a first-time home. And that would be tax and penalty free. So I think we have some options. Danny, I'd love to know a little bit more about you and your situation, and then we can help you out further. Okay, that is it. That's the show. If you'd like to get in touch with us, just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Mark Talercio is our executive producer and king of all things web. We ask you to lift someone up. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you next week.